Hello and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide, where today we're here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach for a technical rehearsal of Valhalla.
I have got my fisherman coat, I have got my waterproof trousers, and I have bought a poncho this morning.
You are well prepared, Charlotte. It's
so.
one of the wettest water rides anywhere out there, but it really is iconic. Valhalla opened here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach back in year 2000, 23 years ago. It's not operated since 2019. It's been closed for 3 years, and finally, yesterday, technical rehearsals started. We've come straight down here. Obviously, we couldn't be here on the first day. We were over in France, and there's lots of vlogs still coming up from that trip here on the channel. But we've come straight down here to Blackpool to come and experience Valhalla today for a technical rehearsal. And you know what? We are looking forward to making our own opinions and experiencing this ride today.
I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest, about how wet you actually get.
We've heard a lot of reports from yesterday, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. Firstly, I just wanted to talk about the most important thing, and that is a technical rehearsal, what that means, because it's a term that we don't really hear much of, especially in the UK theme park industry. It's something that you hear more abroad at Disney, Universal, but Blackpool Pleasure Beach are now running Valhalla for technical rehearsals. What exactly does that mean? There's a sign out the front. They've made it clear on social media. That effectively means that if you're coming down here at the moment, there is a chance you may get to ride it,
or you
may not get to ride it. It could open for maybe 10 minutes, it could then close for the day. It could operate for the full 4 or 5 hours. Effects may not work on there, and I think it's quite clear that the ride is definitely not finished at this moment in time.
It's not the full ride experience for when you do come, and it is the technical rehearsal. It's like a preview.
It is, but then you could come down here and you could get everything.
Yeah.
You could ride it once, then you could ride it again, and you get nothing. That is a technical rehearsal. We're not used to it that much in this country, so I just wanted to get that out there and talk about that. But Valhalla is now open for those. We've got here down here today, nice and early. We found out that it is going to be opening today for technical rehearsals, most likely in the afternoon from around 2 o'clock. So again, the park's been open from 10. We got down here just in case. It could have opened at 10:30. It could not have opened at all. That is what is going on at the moment. A lot of people have also said, you know, how long are these rehearsals going to go on for? The question is, we don't know.
No, we're not too sure. The park haven't said, so just keep it in mind.
Yeah, definitely. But if you are travelling down here, there is a chance you'll get to ride it, and also a chance you won't.
It's like a 50-50.
It is, and also as well depending on all sorts of different things. With a ride like this, Valhalla is very complicated. You know, this ride opened back in 2000, full of effects, never really been done before, and that's what made many people such as myself fall in love with this iconic attraction. But we're here today, we're going to be waiting about, and hopefully soon we're going to be having our first ride on Valhalla since 2019. It's been reimagined. It's no longer Ride the Adventure, it's Brave the Adventure, and we're ready to brave it today here in Blackpool. I just want to also say, obviously the technical rehearsal started yesterday at the time of recording. There was a lot of negativity surrounding the ride, which has made me quite concerned. I loved the ride so much, but again, everybody needs to remember these are technical rehearsals at the moment.
It's not fully ready.
You know, we're not seeing the full end results here, and obviously our review when we come off the ride, and hopefully after a few rides, will reflect the fact we are in a technical rehearsal stage. We're here to make our own opinions. Obviously filming isn't allowed on the ride anyway, and even if it was, a ride of this nature, a POV would not do it justice. You need to be sat there on the boat, getting soaked, and enjoying this yourself. But we're here at Pleasure Beach. I can't believe this day's finally here. Tech rehearsals are here for Valhalla at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and we should be riding soon. Well, when we arrived down here this morning, there was no water running around the trough or anything like that. So it's a good sign that water is now going round the trough and it's starting to be filled up. Valhalla is a complex water ride manufactured by Swiss company Intamin and featuring lots of different special effects. So it is a very complex ride system. So I'm very much looking forward to stepping in there.
I'm not prepared for how wet we are going to get.
Can you remember? It's been that long.
I can remember it slightly. I know that you just get absolutely soaked.
And it's nice to see this back out today.
It's come out especially for Valhalla today.
Now, if you are coming down here hoping to ride it during technical rehearsals, this is a good sign. If you're seeing the trough filled up, water running round, and then of course boats start to cycle, that's a good sign that the ride will be opening. So we're going to stick around by the entrance. I've got my waterproof trousers ready, and yeah, I am really looking forward to this. Like I say, yesterday there was a lot of negativity from the ride. We've heard quite a few things. We have looked at spoilers for it as well, and we want to make our own judgments and opinions. Yeah, definitely. But here we go. Look at the water filling up in the trough, which is a great sign for tech rehearsals today. I've got to say, I'm a big fan of what they've done with the exterior just here. All the queue line in place, of course, now as well. When we were last down here, the queue line wasn't in. But yeah, with the signage over there, and of course the waterfall will be coming on shortly, or hopefully it should be. It's a technical rehearsal, so it might not. Yeah, waterfall should be coming on, and then the mist effect, which is new, which they've added all the way around the bottom here as well. But yeah, it looks great. It feels like Valhalla's in the middle of a forest when you get it from the right angle. All these trees and plants around here. Yeah, it does look fantastic out the front. Something I'm not a big fan of at the moment is how they just put a bucket on top of the flame effects out here. Yeah, probably to stop water getting in the top there. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. It doesn't look the best. If they don't want them getting wet up there, they need to make like a little cover for it over the top. So it's just gone 2 o'clock, the excitement's building down here at Valhalla. And yeah, of course, the actual poncho booth isn't ready yet, they're still building that. So yeah, they're just wheeling out a temporary poncho booth to just go out the front here. Here we go, it's looking good. Charlotte's all ready to go as well.
Got my poncho
Hey!
on, got my waterproof trousers on, I'm prepared.
You're looking good. Quite a queue has formed all the way back now, down to the exit. Valhalla, we're coming for you. Get ready to brave the adventure. Oh, here we go, the waterfalls are coming on. Hey! The excitement is building now, look at this. Waterfalls on. It's very windy today here in Blackpool, look at that. Well, that lasted about 60 seconds, waterfalls off. Yeah, I think it's a bit too windy for that today here in Blackpool. Well, the mist effects have turned on now down here. I've got to say, that does look fantastic. And I am a big fan of the sign down here as well. What they've done to the exterior looks really good. Other than the buckets, like I say, but they're only temporary for now. But yeah, this looks really good with the mist. It is blowing everywhere. Shame the waterfall's not on, but obviously, yeah, when it's this windy, it does blow all off to the right. We're just waiting now. It's nearly 2:30. Seems like they've wrapped up work today on the poncho booth just over there. So yeah, I think we're going to be making our way in imminently. Very exciting, but very nervous. It's an iconic, very special ride, this one. Hey, waterfalls coming back on now as well. I love just documenting all this kind of stuff to look back on in the future. It's great sharing it with you all now, but I can't wait to just look back on this one day and be like, we were there when there were technical rehearsals on Valhalla. Well, yeah, there we go, waterfalls on. It does look great, it really does. I'm a big fan of the mist and the waterfalls. Great to see that on. Does look awesome from the outside. Here we go. It's time. Valhalla technical rehearsal. Oh yes. I can't believe this. Over 3 years of waiting for this moment to be walking down this queue line again, but we're here, the sun's shining. It's actually a really nice day. It's very windy, but the sun is shining, and this is it, ready to ride Valhalla at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. How are you feeling there, Charlotte?
Nervous.
Oh! Ready with the ponchos, I can't believe this. We've got a scan our e-ticket. Worth pointing out, it is a bags on ride as well. Hey! This is a bags on ride. Everyone's excited, the atmosphere's building. We're gonna get soaked. Oh my God, how's this gonna be? Crazy. We're gonna see you when we come off. Valhalla here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach is back for technical rehearsals. Let's go and see how it is. Look at that side. It's huge when you get close to it. Look at the station in here. The music's playing out. Wow. It's time to ride Valhalla. Let's go and brave the adventure. Well, we came here today hoping to get at least one ride on Valhalla. It's got to the end of the day and we managed to experience the reimagined Valhalla during technical rehearsals 3 times.
I've been on Valhalla 3 times.
Back to back, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it myself, to be honest.
I tell you what though, I am impressed with some of the scenes in there and other bits not so much. Bear in mind we can't fully judge it yet.
We can't do the full review until it is officially open.
Yeah, that's the thing, and we don't know when that will be yet. It will remain in technical rehearsals. However, what we've seen so far, the station area looks really nice. I like what they've done at the back with the picture, and I think it looks very nice with what they've done with all the black painting in there.
I like it, it looks fresh.
Worth pointing out, straight away you can notice how they've moved the operator's cabin. It used to be above, it's now over on the left-hand side, and that also shows how much work has gone into the ride system. These aren't changes that you would necessarily notice straight away, but what Blackpool Pleasure Beach have done is spent a lot of money on the ride system itself in Valhalla.
That's what you need to realise, a lot of money has gone into improving the ride system and the infrastructure around it.
And hopefully with that, the reliability being the main one. Valhalla has always been unreliable since when it first opened, and that hasn't always been due to the effects also with the actual ride system itself.
There's a lot going on in there, and there's a hell of a lot of water.
Yeah, definitely. So you've got to think when you're mixing a ride system in a show building with effects, electric speakers, all that kind of stuff, there really is a lot to think about. But yeah, they've spent the money on the ride system, and you can tell that straight away from how they've moved the actual operator's console. Along with that as well, you can tell that parts of the ride have actually been replaced inside as well, such as anti-rollbacks on the lift hill, sensors, lots of different safety things that are needed on a ride like this.
Stuff that not everybody would realise that has been done.
Definitely. And then we move on to the ride itself. We've had 3 rides, so we thought we don't want to come off and just share our thoughts on one ride. Let's talk about it after doing 3. Technical rehearsals, you know, things can change every single time. So firstly, you make your way outside the station, the outdoor section, and yeah, you've got the waterfall effect. That wasn't on today, however we know that it was yesterday.
Just sort of trickling a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of trickle, but it wasn't fully operational. But again, technical rehearsals. We made our way in. You've got a new scene on the right with a new Viking figure, and at this point it's clear that there's going to be a storyline told throughout at least part of the experience. Unfortunately, you couldn't really hear that very clearly.
It was so quiet in there.
And then that leads me on to talk about the audio for the ride. The soundtrack that's been created is great for maybe a show or a fireworks display. For a dark ride, the soundtrack does not fit at all.
I really don't like it.
And in fact, throughout a lot of the ride, you can't hear any music.
It's just silent.
Yeah, and we are talking silent, not even on quiet, silent.
It's just completely silent.
We'll come more to that in just a second. There's so much to kind of talk in about this and digest, but we'll do our best with it. And then of course you make your way to where before you had 2 real flame effects on either side of the boat, not blasts, they were just constant on flame torches. They're now replaced by a fake fire effect that does look quite realistic.
I think it gives off a quite good effect. I quite like it.
You're never going to be able to replace the look of real fire, however what they've done there does look quite good. You make your way up the lift hill. Odin, who was there before, the Viking, he's now gone. That's been replaced with a static kind of wooden scene just there. You've still got the dogs on the right, not as much movement, and again not as many sound effects. The trommel effect with the spinning tunnel on the lift hill has now gone. That's now remaining still, but they've added skulls with lights in, which looks very good in there.
I don't think they look too bad. The skulls with the lights look quite good.
You drop down to the right hand side. That was the point where you had the big floodlights before. That's very different now. There was a big head on the right previously. Now in that scene, you've got all lanterns, which creates a great atmosphere. Then you make your way to what is now my favourite part of the ride, the fake fire effect, which I've got to say has always looked really good, and they've actually updated that. It looks the best it's ever looked in my opinion.
They look really good.
So that's where you've got the actual trough, and then of course fake fire on either side. That's always been a fake fire effect. It's never been real during the ride's history. That looks really good. It's warm in that scene, and then yeah, I really like that.
Lovely and cosy.
Prior to that, you made your way through, and there was actually waterfalls on both sides. This is before you came up to what was the outdoor section with the turntable. Now there, you've got wooden walls with a light behind it shining through. Again, looks very effective. Audio, couldn't hear any of the
There was
storyline.
just nothing at all.
You know, there is audio playing of telling a story, but I couldn't hear it. You then make your way onto the turntable section. That's now all been blocked in. It's wooden walls. There's just a couple of red eyes looking towards you.
Some work in there, like some projection mapping or something in there.
Some projections would work great in there, but again, technical rehearsal.
Exactly.
We don't know. There
come.
could be a projector installed there and it's not on yet. We don't know. But based on what we've seen, it's very dark in there. The turntable, a piece of audio plays, which I did hear, and it says, you know, you need to turn around, which I like how they've implemented that into the story. You then spin round and go down what was the backwards drop forwards. Following on from that point, where there was a large fan at the bottom and the other turntable, that turntable's been completely ripped back, and yeah, you just literally turn round in the right hand side now, which shows a lot of money has been spent on the ride system itself. That leads you on to think, why have they took that turntable out? It was causing a lot of issues for the ride's reliability. They've wanted to try and improve that, so I can see why, as much as the backwards drop was great on the original.
But I can understand why they've done it, so
yeah,
it is one of them.
Definitely. In that scene, you've got a large figure on the left. I believe yesterday a lot of people were saying they got soaked there from an effect.
But we didn't.
We didn't. It seems like maybe it was the ride system. Possibly the trough was more full of water yesterday. There's a large kind of statue there with a small fan. I don't think that was on yet. You're then in complete darkness with no audio at all, making your way into the ice room, or former ice room. What they've done in there is completely different. There's no like snow effect in there at the moment now.
It's not cold.
It was freezing cold. It was like -20 before. That is now not the case. It's no longer cold in there. And what they've actually done is added in like an angel type figure,
like
which
glittery.
really doesn't fit with the ride at all. I don't know why they've put that in there. It's very glamorous style. It's more Hot Eyes than it is Valhalla.
It doesn't really fit.
It
but
doesn't.
The other stuff that's in there doesn't look too bad at all.
Yeah, there's some Viking statues which are all iced up, like they've been frozen. I do like that. That's great. And again, there was no audio playing in that section, and I think the lighting could be better. You then make your way down one of the biggest drops in the ride, the main drop. There's like a vertical like smoke machine above that, which I did quite like. That was a good effect.
I didn't see because I was in my poncho.
It happens very quick, but there was a vertical smoke machine. And then in terms of the drop, no changes to that. You still get very wet, especially on the front. The water comes over. The most soaker part of the ride was the water vortex previously. That is turned off. It is still in place, but it's turned off at the moment. Following on from that, there is a blast on the left that was from original Valhalla, and a water trickle effect from the right, what comes down from the top. Both of them are on, but again, there was no audio around there, which took away from the atmosphere.
The audio is just lacking so much.
The audio, it's not so much, you know, I don't like the new soundtrack, but also you can't hear anything. You can't even hear the new soundtrack in the ride.
The old soundtrack going around was just so
much
better. It was,
you know, and we'll come again more into that in the end with our final wrap of what the current ride is during these rehearsals. But yeah, you're kind of making your way around there, up the next lift hill. Complete darkness, nothing much to see, into that top kind of forest scene now. You've got quite a lot of new things to see in there. There's some big new statues which look pretty good, lots of lighting in there, not much movement yet. The barrel that rolls across is still there, we can see that, but it's not yet operational. Same with the big hammer that comes across, still there, but not yet operational.
These might work on your visit, they might not.
Yeah, the fact those are still there gives me hope that they're planning on those returning.
I'd like to hope so.
I think if they weren't going to have them, they'd have took them out personally. You've got the bow and arrow effect with the fire. All of those are working, like the 4 bits of fire, real fire effects. That is the first kind of real fire that we saw during the ride experience. And then you make your way round the top section there, or you kind of got all the atmospheric lighting. There's a new scene with the bells there, where you go, there's some bells. I'm not really too sure about that.
I'm not a massive fan of those, because either side it's just black walls and then you've just got some bells hanging.
Sound effects of bells. And then the Viking kind of statues on the left that were there before have now gone. And there was a green laser in the redo they did like 10 years ago. That's all gone. They've put these new skulls in which look quite good, and they're on like a track system.
They're just not moving.
Yeah, it looks like to me they're going to move forwards towards the boat for like a jump scare with like the ghost skeletons.
Which will be quite effective.
It will, yeah. And then of course you make your way down into that kind of main finale drop.
Oh, I just couldn't realise.
You know, and you're looking down, it's got the little bump on there. There was no fire in the bottom, there was no fire on the left. However, when we was on the first boat this morning, we did see a test boat going round in front of us with a fire effect there, which shows there is going to be fire. And then on that third ride we just had, we turned the corner into the last scene of the ride. It was flickering, but we didn't get the big blast that you did before. So it's clear that there is still real fire used, not at the start of the ride where there was, but other than that, there is. We didn't see any fire in the actual trough or anything like that yet. There was quite a lot of dark space, but then original Valhalla had quite a lot of dark space as well.
So we have to bear that in mind.
Based on what we've seen, the thing what I don't like about it is the audio. I don't particularly like the new soundtrack. I don't think it fits at all. It's too techno, it's too modern to fit with this ride. I think, you know, the audio that Pleasure Beach have made for other attractions like the big one and Icon really fit with them. But with this, the soundtrack does not fit at all.
I think they should bring the old soundtrack back.
That would improve the ride a hell of a lot. Right now, how it's operating, I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. Changing that audio straight away would add to the atmosphere. But what effects are in there? There's a lot of the original Valhalla effects in there, which makes me very happy. A lot of them initial opening reviews didn't really talk much about them original effects. There is a lot in there that, you know, aren't yet operating but are still in place, and I think Pleasure Beach have got the intention of operating them at some point.
We just need to remember, if you are coming, it is a technical rehearsal, like we've said. Not everything's going to work. You might be going around in blackness, but that is what a technical rehearsal is all about.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and it's time for the park to work this out and really work on each detail. Definitely. But this is our full review of the Reimagined Valhalla. That won't be coming until the ride officially opens, and that'll be when that sign is gone out the front saying technical rehearsals. But what we've seen in there, I think there's potential. I like this new start. I like some of the additional changes. I like the fact we've got some original effects in there. There's probably, when all the fire is working in them areas, there's probably going to be a similar amount of fire to what was there before.
Which is a good selection.
You know, for me, it's the soundtrack. You know, it really doesn't fit. And also the statue of the Viking lady in the ice room.
Doesn't fit at
you know,
all.
or maybe she needs redressing in something else instead
like
of the sparkly,
glitz
glittery costume. But we're going to leave it there. I could talk about it all day. We will be back very soon to talk more about Valhalla. That's our initial thoughts. I definitely recommend, though, coming down here to the park and just seeing it throughout these stages, because as much as you come in here, you might not be guaranteed to get every effect and see everything. You will see over the next few weeks and months how, fingers crossed,
so
you know, this ride is going to be upgraded and we're going to be seeing more. but also bear in mind that a lot of what we've seen during this Valhalla reimagining has been done to the ride system to keep it safe and to keep it operating, and safety is always paramount. The park have gone to Intamin, they've replaced the operator's consoles, they've replaced sensors, anti-rollbacks on lift hills, all that kind of stuff to keep this ride safe and operational, which I really appreciate. Now it's time to really start thinking about the timings of the effects, and most importantly, the audio. New speakers, I don't think there's new speakers in there from the redo. It needs the speakers, and unfortunately that new soundtrack does not fit with this ride. But we're going to leave it there. I'm passionate about this. I could go all day. There will be more coming. That's our initial thoughts. Thanks for watching Theme Park Worldwide, and that leaves me with one final thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. We'll see you in the next video.